here are 10 virgins. And this is a picture of the visible church today with its professing members. People claiming to be Christians. They look pretty much the same outwardly. They all claim to be going to heaven. They all claim to be outwardly working for God. It's interesting in this parable that these virgins all appear to be alike. They all thought of themselves in the same way as bridesmaids, if you like. They all dressed alike. They were all expecting the bridegroom. When the bridegroom was delayed, they all fell asleep. They all had lamps. They all trimmed them to get rid of the burnt bits so that it would burn brighter. They all wanted to be part of the wedding feast. But not all of them were prepared, in verse 3. The foolish ones had no spare oil for their lamps. And this is a warning from the parable. Be sure that you individually are truly prepared, because it's possible to look just like everybody else, talk like everybody else, carry a Bible like everybody else, want to go to heaven, think of yourself as a Christian, yet ultimately be unprepared. It's possible to know about Christ and not know Christ experientially. It's possible to know the Bible and not be living for the God of the Bible. It's possible to be a nice person, know all the right doctrine, know all the answers, yet have no relationship with God. It's possible to look just like everybody else and have your Christianity on the surface, which, while never allowing it to penetrate who you are and change the way that you live. One thing God used in my conversion was a little tract, not the content of the tract itself, but just the title, the headline. And it was this, it says, "Missing Heaven by 18 inches, the supposed distance between your brain and your heart." And that scared me. Was my faith honest? Was it sincere? Had it changed my life? Had I truly repented of my sins? Was Jesus Lord of my life? Or was it just all up here? Academic knowledge, head knowledge. Commentator Matthew Henry says this: "Sincere Christians are the wise virgins, and hypocrites the foolish ones. Many have a lamp of profession in their hands, but have not in their hearts." Many people claim to be Christians in this world today who really aren't. All of the bridesmaids slept. And there's nothing wrong with that. Normal life goes on whilst we're waiting for the bridegroom. We work, we wait, we sleep. Hospitals need to keep on functioning. Babies are born, need to be fed. Shops need to be opened. Cars need to be fixed. The routine of life rolls on as we wait for that time when we will stand before the King of Kings. The important point is that we don't get caught up in the routine of the world and forget that things won't always continue like this. There is a new day coming. You see, some of those bridesmaids slept the sleep of sloth and indifference. Others, the sleep of peace and security, knowing that they had prepared for the bridegroom's coming. And verse 5 tells us that this bridegroom was delayed. In our experience, maybe that seems the same for Jesus. Does he seem like he's delayed? But then in verse 6, at midnight, the bridegroom arrived, and the lamps of the 5 virgins without extra oil were going out. I wonder what went through those 5 girls' heads when they heard the shouting that the bridegroom has come. Probably, what are we going to do? It's one of those deer caught in the headlights moments. They realized that the time had come and they hadn't prepared and they weren't ready. It's too late. There was nothing they could do. The foolish bridesmaids saw that they didn't have enough oil, and they asked their wise friends to loan them some. In verse 8, not possible. The message there is that another person's faith will not cover you. Just because you were born in a Christian home or you're in church with other people of faith doesn't necessarily mean that you have your own faith. It doesn't rub off on you just by sitting next to somebody who has a relationship with Christ. You can't catch faith like you catch a cold. You can't borrow it from your friends. You can't get it from your parents, as has been said many times before. God doesn't have any grandchildren, only children. Every spiritual birth comes directly from Him. Your faith must be your own. God knows our hearts, and He judges us individually. You will stand there on your own, no matter what your heritage, no matter how many Sundays you've ticked off. God is still going to judge you individually. Nobody can make these preparations for you.